After divorcing the pop diva star's ex-wife Sophia and me, I fled overnight with my daughter Chloe, got into a car accident, and died in my previous life. I was reborn. That day, I took my daughter Chloe to appear on a show. As soon as it aired, it received millions of glowing reviews. The host asked my daughter, "Chloe, why don't we see your mother?" My daughter's mouth curled into a smile. Dad said I popped out from a crack in a rock. Sophia, who was still taking part in The Strongest Singing King, barged into the scene carrying an airplane. She sprang out from crack in a rock. Then who am I? Before I could speak, my daughter Yu opened her mouth. "How dare you talk to Dad like that? Who are you, Annie?" "Dad, don't sleep anymore. It's time to get up and eat." My daughter Chloe called me to get up. I turned and pulled her into my arms. "Chloe, stay and sleep with Daddy a little longer. We're just here to take some guest fees. No need to work so hard for the show." The cameraman carrying the camera was sweating profusely, thinking to himself, "It's enough that you know in your heart, but do you have to say it out loud? We're still live. You're staging things for the production team like this. Aren't you afraid they'll give you trouble later?" I had no idea what the cameraman was thinking, but even if I did, I would just smile it off. If it weren't for my good buddy Ryan tracking me down, I wouldn't have bothered joining this crappy show. Having traveled through time these past few years, I'd long since achieved financial freedom, lying on a lounger every day, teasing, sunbathing pretty nice. Chloe giggled, snuggling into my arms, murmuring, "Then it's agreed, we'll only sleep for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. 1 hour." Just as the photographer was about to call out, Director James's joyful voice came through the earpiece. "Don't wake them up. Let them sleep well." The photographer didn't dare to question it and could only agree. He couldn't help but rehearse Director James in his mind. "Isn't it just a sleep broadcast? I can do that too." Director James grinned, his 2 gold teeth flashing as he watched the viewer count surge in the live stream. He couldn't help but pick up his phone and dial a number. "Ryan, you really came through for me, buddy. Our ratings just hit number 3. The voice on the other end was calm. "Then you should take a look whose buddy that is. He can sweep everything away with just a slight move. There will be more surprises to come." Director James didn't argue this time, and he also apologized for looking down on me before. Ryan didn't care much. In the end, he gave one piece of advice. "You can pick a fight with Ethan, but whatever you do, don't mess with his daughter, or even I won't be able to save you." At 9 in the morning, I called Chloe to get up. "Dad, let me sleep a little longer, just 20 minutes. A smile spread across my face. I scooped Chloe out of the covers and spun her around once. Chloe let out a bell-like laugh. "Dad, put me down. It's tickling me to death." I stopped steadily and put her on the bed, saying earnestly, "Quickly get dressed. Dad is going to prepare breakfast." The little girl pouted and, feeling wrong, began to speak. It was clearly the breakfast I prepared, but she soon laughed. She picked up the phone I'd left on the bed and unlocked it with practiced ease. Looking through the photos in the gallery, she said with a smile, "Dad, I know you like that aunt. Chloe will definitely help you win her over." The person in the photo had almost the exact same eyes as Chloe. She was none other than the popular diva Sophia, and Chloe was my biological daughter with her, Chloe. Seeing Chloe still hadn't come out after a long time, I couldn't help but walk into the bedroom. Seeing her staring at her phone, I stepped over with a smile. "Chloe, sneaking games again. Too much will hurt your eyes." Chloe smiled and gave me a kiss on the cheek. "Got it, Dad. Your beard is prickly." After dinner, I heard a knock at the door. "Ethan, you really kept us waiting." I turned to look and saw Director James walking over with the guests. I asked in confusion, "Director James, I thought today was free time?" Director James walked over and said seriously, "It's like this. Our show's ratings have reached 3rd nationwide, so we're going to hold a celebration. The ingredients will be provided by our production team, and each of you guests can show off your cooking skills. See, are you and Chloe going to take part? Can cultivate a child's hands-on abilities. If she doesn't participate, how will Chloe understand how hard life can be?" After I understood the rules, I nodded at once. "Of course you can join. May I ask, is there an extra fee?" Director James nodded happily, feeling quite disdainful inside. "If the show airs and the results are good, I'll give everyone a big red envelope." After talking a while longer, I took Chloe to practice singing. The day's plan begins in the morning. Chloe's musical talent must not be neglected. Sophia and I met in university. We both majored in music. At the time, our graduation performance partner had an emergency, and on Ryan's introduction, I went on stage to help. Because of the connection with Ryan, I helped Sophia once. Unexpectedly, the first time she and I performed together, the result was surprisingly good. Later, Sophia proactively added me, and we started contacting each other more. By a twist of fate, we even ended up signing with the same company. Both of them were musical prodigies, showing astonishing talent as soon as they joined the company. But the company's resources were limited, so I voluntarily gave up some of them. With the company's full backing, Sophia made her first push to challenge the reigning diva. Unfortunately, she failed. After her failure, she was disheartened and lost hope. She came to me, married me, and had a child with me. I had thought life would settle down. That day, her manager Linda came to see me. "Ethan, if you stick with Sophia, you'll only hold her back. Did you know? Rumors are already circulating outside that Sophia has married and had a child. If that gets confirmed, it will be a devastating blow to her career." At that time, I was madly in love with Sophia. I couldn't stand to see her hurt in any way. Linda handed me a divorce agreement. Without any hesitation, I signed my name on it. 3 days later, Sophia and I completed the divorce formalities. Our marriage ended just like that. She handed me a $10 million black card, and I didn't take it. That night, I fled with Chloe overnight. I don't even know how many rides we took. In the end, there was a car accident. On the verge of death, I held Chloe tightly in my arms. Recalling those memories, I felt sorrow for my past life. After leaving the hospital, I went into hiding with Chloe in this bustling Creek Valley town. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. 2 years ago, I also saw Sophia on the news headlines. Sophia had finally become a superstar of her generation. On the swing by the playground, only butterflies land upon it. The song ended, and Chloe ran into my arms. "Dad, how did I sing?" I ruffled her little head. "Chloe was amazing, better than your mom." Chloe looked puzzled. "Dad, didn't you say I popped out of a crack in a rock? How could I have a mom?" I quickly smoothed things over and changed the subject. "Dad just forgot. The celebration is starting. Chef Chloe is about to make her appearance." When she heard me praise her, she quickly moved away from the topic. On the way to the restaurant, she kept repeating, "I have to make so many big dishes today. Dragon roars and phoenix dances, blue seas and clear skies." My eyes welled up. Nothing special. The dishes my daughter made were all my favorites. I quietly resolved to eat a little more later to give my daughter confidence. By the time we were done talking, we'd already changed clothes. When we arrived at the restaurant, the show was already being recorded. Host Isabella Scott appears on camera. "Hello, viewers. Welcome to the reality show Smart Kids. I'm Isabella. Our 5 groups of contestants have all arrived. Let's have the camera follow their steps and see what they're doing." As the camera zooms in, the first 4 groups are preparing lunch. But when it came to our place, the commenters completely lost it. What is he doing? Where did the show find this idiot? He actually made the child cook while he lies in a chair playing games. Is there any justice left? Look at his worried face. He probably lost the game again. Serves him right. Of course, some netizens tried to explain on my behalf, but they were drowned out by the accusations. Someone even made a grandiose promise to teach me a lesson on the spot. To my surprise, someone actually replied to them below. 3 more seconds and I'll be there. I lost the game, so I picked up my phone and started scrolling for the live comments. I actually saw that comment, and the person who posted it turned out to be an acquaintance. Without thinking, I scooped up Chloe and ran. But I didn't expect a figure at the door to block me dead in my tracks. "Where do you think you're going?" The live stream froze for a moment. Am I seeing things? The more I look, the more this person looks like the current top diva Sophia. Not looks like she is. You've bewitched me. My brain orgasmed. I'm instantly awake. I didn't expect that just appearing on a show would make Sophia come after me. "Dad, are we leaving now?" Chloe's eyes spun round and round, as if lost in thought. One sentence from Chloe set the live stream chat ablaze once again. This duo's chemistry is just so smooth. WTF? Could it be that the diva and this kid are involved? You still want to trick me into having a daughter? You must have taken a job at the Civil Affairs Bureau. I looked at Sophia, about to say something, when the host interrupted. The host handed the microphone to my daughter. Chloe, why isn't your mom here? My daughter's mouth curled into a smile. Dad said I popped out from a crack in a rock. Sophia, who had rushed to the scene like a fighter jet, stared at me with eyes that never let go. She sprang out from a crack in a rock. Then who am I? Before I could speak, my daughter opened her mouth. How dare you talk to Dad like that? Who are you, Annie? Chloe's voice wasn't loud, but everyone in the live stream could hear her clearly. It was practically a major slaughterhouse scene. The show was still filming, so I quickly picked up Chloe and soothed her. Keep your voice down. She's a popular diva, Sophia. Chloe turned to the camera, pouting, and said, Famous pop diva, so impressive. I hurriedly covered her mouth and whispered in her ear. Several small goals every year, what do you think? The live stream chat buzzed with discussion. I turned around and saw Sophia's face, as dark as coal. Ethan, is this how you take care of? She was cut off mid-sentence when her manager Linda rushed in and clapped a hand over her mouth. Sophia, you can't make your relationship public. It'll ruin your career. But this time, without thinking, she pushed Linda away. If I don't make it public, my own biological daughter will end up calling me in. After saying that, she walked toward me. Ethan, let's talk. I didn't refuse. After all, I knew that if things weren't clarified, she would still come looking for me. After a moment's thought, I said, Go back to the hotel and wait for me. I'll come find you after I finish recording. Watching Sophia leave, the celebration officially began. Dad, put away your phone, it's time to eat. The soft, sweet voice made the viewers in the live stream melt. The director screamed wildly backstage. Give half the shots to Ethan and his daughter. On the live broadcast, Chloe prepared several fine dishes. They were perfect in color, aroma, and taste. It looks incredibly appetizing, not at all inferior to the other four. The live viewers were even more generous with their praise. So fragrant. I feel like I'm not as good as Chloe. The burger in my hand suddenly doesn't smell good anymore. Look at Ethan, he's drooling. No way. When I get home, I'm going to tell my husband to have a daughter. Watching the traffic grow, Director James could barely keep his mouth shut. Keep directing the traffic toward Ethan and his daughter and post the highlights online. Having arranged everything, he picked up his phone again and called Ryan. Ryan, our ratings are now second. A flat, expressionless voice responded. Call me again when it hits number 1. The call ended. Director James looked at the busy crew around him and loudly praised. Everyone hold on a little longer. Once the show airs, everyone's bonus will be doubled. After saying all that, he murmured to himself, Ethan, you really are my lucky star. Assistant Isabella Scott received the director's instruction. Always ask me a few questions at the dining table. I responded casually, glancing at my phone out of the corner of my eye. The data looked good, so it wasn't too bad for Ryan. The celebration ended, and I left with Chloe immediately. I didn't expect that as soon as we stepped out the door, a car stopped in front of us. The window rolled down, revealing Sophia's cold face. Get in the car. I won't give you any chance to run away. There is nothing I could do. I could only take her home. My home is a detached house with a garden in the back. Not bad. Sophia's mood was like a roller coaster. She even thought we lived in a slum and were very short of money. But it turned out he was living even more comfortably than she was. This made Sophia feel that all her past choices had been wrong. It was love at first sight. She fell for the place the moment she saw it. I led her to a tea pavilion and said directly, Sophia, just say whatever you have to say. Sophia looked sorrowful and indignant. Ethan, do you know how I've spent the past 5 years? You quietly took Chloe away. I haven't slept a single peaceful night in these 5 years. By the end, her words turned into an accusation. Although we've separated, didn't I provide you with a villa? Why did you have to leave? Hearing Sophia's reproach, I replied with an expressionless face. If you insist on saying that, I don't think there's any need for us to continue talking. It wasn't that I necessarily wanted to leave back then either. thinking back to the day after the divorce. Her manager found me and handed me a check for $5 million. Ethan, take this $5 million. Take Chloe and leave, and don't come back. I was, of course, full of confusion. Do you mean this, or does Sophia mean this? Linda's answer was simple. Whether it's my wish or hers, you shouldn't be with her. To her, you're just a burden. Do you understand? I picked up the check in my hand and slapped it into her face. Don't use your filthy thoughts to judge my love for Sophia. If she can go further, I will support her. So now she asks me why I left. I can only find it utterly ridiculous. Sophia only felt wronged. She spoke unhappily. It was, you insisted on leaving back then, and you're the one who snapped at me first, wah wah wah. With just one look, I saw a sly flash cross her eyes. As expected of an actress, she can sure put on a show. Chloe saw Sophia crying and grabbed my hand. Dad, don't be sad. If you don't like this Annie, we can pick another one. I took her hand and said seriously, do you hear me? If you can't speak properly again, get out. Chloe, just having me is enough. Saying that, I took Chloe's hand and was about to go back to rest. Seeing this, Sophia fell to her knees with a thud. Chloe, husband, I'm sorry, it was my fault. Chloe looked at me and said softly, Dad, she's already knelt down to admit her mistake. Should we give her another chance? Looking at my daughter's expectant eyes, I thought this was the bond of mother and daughter by blood. After a pause, I slowly spoke. Since Chloe spoke up, we'll give you one chance. No sooner had I finished speaking than Butler William ran over to report. Sir, bad news. Someone outside claiming to be Linda wants to see you. Linda, Sophia's manager. He was also the one who threatened and coerced me back then. I have no good feelings toward this man at all. Get her out. Butler William nodded in agreement. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became, and then I saw a figure burst in. Ethan, how dare you detain our Sophia? Do you believe we won't call the police and have you arrested? Seeing Linda take such a stance made me lose the last shred of goodwill I had for Sophia. I said bluntly, Sophia, take your dog and get out of here. Chloe saw I was angry and shook off Sophia's hand. Auntie, you made Daddy angry. I don't like you anymore. I felt much better inside. Seeing this, Sophia turned and slapped Linda in the face. Linda, is that how you talk to my husband and daughter? It seems I've been too indulgent with you all these years. After saying that, she looked at me in a conciliatory way. Honey, are you still angry? Linda's eyes were bloodshot with fury. She pointed at me and said, Sophia, Ethan is just a burden. How could you hit me for him? Linda couldn't understand what she had done wrong. She forced us to break up, all for our own good. The smile at the corner of Sophia's mouth vanished. She glared at Linda and said, A burden? Do you know how I've lived these past years? Ever since they left, I haven't slept a single peaceful night. I'm awakened every time by nightmares. This time she was determined to win us back. From the show, she learned just how outstanding her daughter is. Of course, there's also that unreliable father. She wants to reform him. At that, Linda scoffed. Sophia, if you tell me now that you regret it, you're just trying to shove all the responsibility onto us. You were the one who wanted the divorce back then, and you're the one who said the father and daughter were burdens. When Linda told the truth, I realized there was this layer of truth to the divorce back then. The company's resources were limited at the time, and Sophia was very driven. I'm not surprised she could think that way. But I resented her. Why couldn't she have said it out loud? No wonder she chose to leave in her previous life. She was too disappointed in him. Memories from the past flashed by, and I politely said to Butler William, Butler William, please show them out. Sophia was about to say something else when she was dragged away by the arriving security guards. A hysterical apology came from behind her. Sorry, it was my fault. After Sophia left, I picked up Chloe. Chloe, you don't blame Daddy, do you? Chloe shook her head, her big eyes darting back and forth. It's not Daddy's fault. There's no one like Daddy in the world. My heartache eased a little. I could also see the disappointment in her eyes. After all, she was just a child back then. She didn't have to go through my pain. I helped lift her head and said irritably, If you don't tell the truth, Dad will get angry. Chloe smiled faintly. Sorry, Chloe lied. I laughed. That's better. Then we'll give her 3 chances. If you can accept that, shall we let her stay? Chloe nodded excitedly and held out her finger to make a pinky promise with me. As Chloe and I made our entrance, more and more people were drawn to Chloe. Combined with Chloe's nanny dad personality, our traffic exploded. The 4 other guest pairs on the show looked on, green with envy. Especially Daniel, who ranked second in popularity, was even more explosive in his mindset. He directly complained to his older brother Alexander. Bro, I want to deal with a father and daughter pair. Do you have any ideas? Daniel had put a lot into this show, spending a great deal of money and time. The top spot must belong to him. He wanted to use this chance to become an overnight sensation. Now being overshadowed by a pair of ordinary father and daughter, he was deeply resentful. The person opposite chuckled lightly. They're just a pair of ordinary people. Bribe one of the guest stars to set the tone. He hung up the phone and Daniel regained his confidence. After a short while, he dialed the number. After hanging up, he was overjoyed. Wait until Chloe and I come down from the stage. The 2 guest commentators at the host stand set the tone. The world has declined. A man like that still has the nerve to appear on a show. A father who doesn't set an example for his child is actually worse than a girl. I suggest the program team bans men like that outright. Many of the paid commenters Daniel hired started spamming the live chat. Ethan, get out of the show. Sisters, let's cyberbully Ethan. Chloe and I started from zero. Our fans didn't have much cohesion. Was defeated faster under the head-to-head matchup. This kid isn't a good sort either. As the father, so the daughter. Director James saw the situation and hesitated. If he weren't Ethan, he probably wouldn't have interfered. But this person was recommended by Ryan, so he had to be extra cautious. Before he could make the call, Ryan phoned him. Director James, if you can't resolve this, I'll step in personally. Director James nodded repeatedly. He dared not offend the big shot Ryaner. He contacted the 2 special guests through his earpiece. But the 2 had obviously been paid off and completely ignored him. This is outrageous. Cut off the comment live stream feed for me. It's not a serious situation. The director's office won't intervene lightly. And the 2 among the commentators, still unaware, went on spouting nonsense. Someone like Ethan is unfit to be a father, right? People like him should be kicked off the show. But then the 2 of them noticed the live stream feed suddenly went black. For a moment, viewers were left confused. Chloe and I began today's show challenge, The Born Shadow. 5 pairs of guests each chose a path to reach the Mushroom House. The team that used the least time got first place. The first place family can make the last place family do one thing. The Mushroom House was colorful and visible from afar at a glance. But the live stream chat didn't see it that way. The show producers being this kind? You're dreaming. Ethan's just like old Devil Han. Always takes 3 steps back when trouble comes. Poor Chloe. She's fine going through the challenge alone, but having to bring along a burden. Although Chloe's and my live stream were hit, with the show's team stepping in, things quickly stabilized. It was also because Chloe was intelligent and talented that the live stream kept its top audience numbers. But seeing the plank walk ahead, the 2 of us stopped. On the path before us were 7 or 8 plank walkways laid out. No need to think, beneath the planks were individual traps. And at the end of the plank stood the Mushroom House. Chloe frowned, causing viewers in the live stream to shout, "Let me do it." Soon, she suddenly said, "Good thing I remember the little trick Dad taught me." Saying that, she took a few marbles out of her bosom. As the marbles rolled across the wooden board, they made a distinct sound. Locating by sound, the audience who had been waiting to see Chloe embarrassed instantly erupted. "Damn, is Chloe really that good? She's only 5 years old." I was waiting to see how many times this father-daughter pair would mess up. Didn't expect them to handle it so easily. I think the production team is baffled, set up all those traps, and ended up not using them. This cracks me up. By the way, did you just hear Chloe say her dad taught her that? I shook my head. Chloe was still thinking far too simply. How could a show team possibly be that stupid? Sure enough, the next moment Chloe was about to fall into the trap. I was quick-eyed and nimble-handed, scooping her up in one swift motion. But the scene in the pit sent shivers down my spine. The big pit was filled with dense, venomous snakes, flicking their tongues freely. Viewers in the live stream, seeing this, exclaimed that it was impossible. Director James in the control room rushed over here like his life depended on it, pale with fear. The live show's traffic surged, but sadly it was all negative traffic, almost overwhelming the official Weibo. Because we were recording the show, Chloe and I had handed in our phones. But that was no problem for me. I had my staff call an ambulance. By the time Director James arrived, he could only watch the ambulance drive away. He gritted his teeth and said, "Temporarily suspend the show. You all go back first." After speaking, he flagged down a car and rushed to the hospital. When the ambulance arrived at the hospital, I directly called for the director. After examination, Chloe only suffered external injuries and needed to rest for a few days. My heart finally settled. As I pulled her back to the ward, a figure in the distance caught my eye. Chloe looked a little displeased. "Isn't that Mom? Why is she tussling with another man?" I covered my daughter's mouth, and the two of us quietly slipped behind a pillar. Here, we can clearly hear the conversation between the two of them, Sophia and the other person. "Alexander, let go of me. I'm going to see my daughter." "Sophia, if you go now, it won't do any good. You have to wait until they're desperate before you show up." "Why? Only then will they be grateful to you, thinking you're their pillar of support." Through the corner of my eye, I could see the pride in Alexander's eyes. My daughter looked at me, ready to leave. I grabbed her hand and said softly, "We'll wait a little longer and see what she chooses." But I didn't expect her to actually listen to Alexander. It took her a long time before she hurried to the operating room. Looking at her retreating back, my daughter spoke each word deliberately. "Mama, one of your chances is gone." I took my daughter back to the ward. Half an hour later, Sophia rushed in a panic. "Chloe, Mom is late." Hearing Sophia's hiss shout, "Chloe," and I no longer felt any ripple of emotion. Chloe looked up and said seriously, "Auntie, I promised Dad I'd give you 3 chances, and you've already used one." Sophia was stunned, then tried to explain in every way she could, and the words coming out of her mouth were exactly what Alexander had said. I picked up my phone and threw it to her. If it weren't for my daughter and me being there in person, you would have totally pulled it off. She took the phone carefully. Just one glance, and her heart sank halfway. She hurriedly explained, "It's not like that." Alexander, who was following her, grabbed her hand. He looked at me meaningfully. "Sophia, you can't be polite with people like that. Otherwise, I'm afraid they'll end up riding on your neck and taking a dump." Chloe immediately retorted, "That's not true." Alexander grinned and said, "Isn't that right? You joined this show to get Sophia's attention. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You just want to leech off Sophia." After speaking, he took out a deed and said contemptuously, "In the manner you live in, you're not even the owner of the house." Seeing the 2 words, Ryan, above, I couldn't help but laugh. At first I wanted to buy this manor myself, but Ryan simply gave it to me. I naturally didn't pay it much mind and didn't go through the final transfer paperwork. Unexpectedly, Alexander took advantage of the gap. "Ethan, how can you lie? You'll set a bad example for the child." Sophia said seriously. Alexander backed Sophia up and belittled me in every way. He wanted to crush me completely. That way, Sophia would be completely disappointed in me. She would belong only to him. Soon he made up his mind and said lightly to Sophia, "Actually, you shouldn't blame Ethan either. After all, what man doesn't want a little face pride?" Just as I was about to speak, a voice from behind interrupted me. "He's not the owner of the manor yet, but he will be soon." Seeing who had arrived, Chloe immediately rushed forward. "Uncle Ryan, Chloe has missed you so much." When Ryan saw Chloe, the murderous look on his face vanished immediately. "Chloe, Uncle misses you too. I brought you a whole truckload of toys this time." When a big truck stopped to the hospital gate, people around reacted with surprised looks. Those stuffed toys must number in the 10,000s. How doting must that dad be to spoil his child like that? This is treating us like we're not even human. Housh, housh, housh. Alexander looked very displeased. This was a complete slap in the face. He had spent a fortune just to humiliate me. I didn't expect Reiner to show up. Reiner is a major financial power behind the entertainment industry, many times stronger than the Star Entertainment he belongs to. More importantly, Reiner is like a dragon. His presence is known, but he's rarely seen. At most, he had only glanced at him from afar. Now, Reiner was clearly very familiar with his father and daughter, which made him quite flustered. But I ignored him and walked straight toward Sophia. Lying? You just took Alexander's single-sided word and decided that my daughter and I were lying, while remaining uninvolved. You don't even give us any chance to explain. It seems Alexander's status is more important than ours. People around her began to criticize her, and even Chloe stopped smiling. Sophia belatedly realized what had happened. She grabbed my hand and apologized. I'm sorry, Ethan. It was my fault. I should have believed you. I jerked my hand away from her and said to her, you have one more chance. Chloe walked over and helped her up. Auntie, you mustn't make the same mistake again, or Dad and I won't forgive you. Startled for a moment, Sophia's eyes revealed irritation and anxiety. She had one chance left. If she failed, she feared she might never see her daughter again. Soon, she issued an announcement. Sophia would withdraw from the entertainment industry effective immediately. She had just put her phone down when her agent called. Sophia, are you out of your mind? Do you know that quitting show business means all your past efforts were for nothing? Alexander also began to admonish. Sophia, why don't you think it over a bit more? Sophia's voice was very firm. No, and you, don't come looking for me anymore either. Soon, I understood Sophia's game. Fame or treat to advance. Unfortunately, she was mistaken. Alexander still wanted me to persuade Sophia. I replied calmly, what has that got to do with me? Alexander, this is between my husband and me. You don't need to meddle. Sophia cut Alexander off. Besides, do you really think I don't understand? You were just trying to sow discord. Alexander was a bit anxious. Sophia, how can you think of me like this? Before he finished speaking, I picked up Chloe and left. Husband, wait for me. Sophia's lips curved at the corner as she quickened her pace to follow. I didn't expect Sophia to actually come after us. And, judging by the looks of it, she intended to cling to us. That won't do. I really don't want Sophia's career anymore. When she saw me look back at her, she said with a complicated expression, I've lost you once. I won't let go again this time. Hearing her words, I looked up in surprise. I hope so. Don't slack off after a few days. Ethan, looking at that familiar silhouette, Sophia recalled. When we were together, she didn't have to worry about anything. That was the happiest time of her life. But later she got a job, and the happiness disappeared. They'd only been apart for a few years, and he still seemed just as capable. I hadn't expected her to watch me for so long. It felt like we were back to how things used to be. The girl leaning against the kitchen doorway, drooling. But what's missed is missed. It can never return to how it was. 5 dishes and a soup. Chloe ran over at the smell. Daddy, it smells so good. I picked her up and gently kissed her cheek. After giving birth, Sophia basically never took care of her. So her health is weaker than that of children her age. The reason she's become so strong today is because I fed her with modern delicacies. Chloe, go with Annie first. Daddy will be ready soon. But I didn't expect it. Sophia just stayed there and didn't take care of the company at all. Ryan finished the transfer procedures, stayed for 3 days, then the star went off to travel. As for getting revenge for Chloe, I'm already working on it. But before I could make a move, Sophia's fire had already reached her own doorstep. Chloe handed me her phone, and the trending search glaringly read, #Sophia quits the industry #. #Sophia had a child out of wedlock #. Sophia fell out with Star Entertainment and must pay a large amount of breach of contract damages #. The fact that these private details got out clearly means it was done by someone familiar. Star Entertainment, Sophia's agent Linda. Sophia, step forward. Don't worry, I'll handle this myself. It won't affect you or Chloe. I looked at her face and said irritably, you hang around here every day. We've long since been exposed. I shook my head, but my phone rang. Director James. Silence on the other end. Then a resolute voice spoke. Ethan, don't worry. This time I'll definitely be on your side. I neither confirmed nor denied, but I also didn't understand what he meant. Butler William handed me a tablet, which displayed the reality show production team's statement. Effective immediately, our production team terminates all cooperation with Daniel and will cooperate with the police investigation into his illegal activities. Below is Director James's personal statement. At the same time, I declare that I will no longer have any cooperation with Star Entertainment. When Sophia saw this scene, her eyes were full of stars. But the knock on the door that followed made her heart tighten. The security guard reported that people from Star Entertainment had come calling. I didn't want to pay it any mind, but I still followed in Sophia's footsteps. Sophia, have you made a decision? If you want to leave the company now, you'll at least have to pay the company a breach penalty of $300 million US. Sophia froze for a moment, then cursed loudly. 300 million USD. Why don't you guys go steal it? I've worked so hard for the company all these years and still haven't earned 300 million USD. Alexander stepped forward and said, "That's not simple. You should go back to the company. After all, your contract still has 5 years to run." Tears fell as Sophia looked at Chloe. Then she walked over to me and said earnestly, "I can't drag you down. You and Chloe should go." Seeing Sophia in tears, Chloe's eyes were wet. Seeing this scene, I knew I could no longer stand aside. "Alexander, who are you trying to scare?" Alexander sneered without stopping and directly shouted at me. "Ethan, don't think that just because Ryan's backing you, you can run wild. Our Star Entertainment is backed by Vision Studios. That's not something a minor nobody like you can stand up to." Mr. Who, chairman of Star Entertainment, looked at Sophia with lecherous eyes. "If you want to break the contract, it's not impossible, as long as you sleep with me every month." But the next moment, he clapped a hand over his mouth and stared in disbelief at the blood on his palm. "Shut up. You think you're something just because you're backed by Vision Studios. What a coincidence. I happen to know their person in charge." After speaking, I directly dialed his number. Hearing my explanation, the other party was furious, eyes nearly popping with rage. Alexander sneered, "A bluff." I didn't answer. However, Mr. Who's expression changed drastically after he ended the call. He slapped Alexander across the face and shouted angrily, "Thanks to you, my company is going bankrupt." Sure enough, before long the police came and arrested him. At the same time, Alexander received a call from Daniel. In that moment, there was nowhere he didn't know about my abilities. Plop! He fell to his knees and begged for mercy. "Ethan, Mr. Ethan, please, I'm begging you to spare me this time." But I no longer wanted to bother and slapped him across the face. "When you provoke me, you should have expected to suffer the consequences today." Alexander clung to Sophia's thigh, begging desperately for mercy. "Sophia, please save me. You've become a diva star, and I put in no small amount of effort." Sophia's eyes flashed coldly, and Chloe said disdainfully, "Auntie, go ahead and make a scene." Slap! Alexander looked at Sophia in disbelief, murmuring, "Sophia, how could you hit me too?" Sophia raised an eyebrow and spoke slowly. "You think I don't know about the dirty things you've done? Over the years, how many women have you slept with? Your reputation has long been ruined. You just want to bind yourself to me to eke out a little more time, don't you?" After saying that, she directly opened her phone, glaring there were the pieces of evidence of the crimes he had committed. At that moment, no one could save him. The police returned and arrested him. Director James showed up with a sumptuous gift. This time, I still received him seriously. After investigation, the incident with the show had little to do with him. Everything was Alexander's idea. Daniel bribed the commentators and the staff, and those people were personally sent to the hospital by Director James. But after all, it was the show's negligence that left a hidden psychological wound on my daughter. So I refused to participate in the show again. What I didn't expect was that a look of disappointment flashed across Chloe's face. Sophia approached me and said earnestly, "Honey, Chloe wants to go. She wants to get up wherever she falls." I looked at Chloe. Chloe said calmly, "Auntie, don't talk nonsense." I never said that. I rubbed her cheek and took a deep breath. "All right, stop calling me Annie every other sentence." Call me whatever you want. As for appearing on the show, I can agree, but you must listen to me from now on. Director James went home overjoyed. I took my daughter to appear on the show. The difference was that this time there was one more person, Sophia. She seemed to have really changed. Like a student, she followed Chloe to learn how to cook. Sophia also understood that I had no intention of remarrying. If she wants to achieve her goal, she will have to fight a war of attrition. One wrong step and the whole game is lost. The issue in the first stage is how she should ingratiate herself. If you want to win a man over, win his stomach. But she had never cooked before, so she had to learn from scratch. I could see how hard she was trying. Unfortunately, the dishes she made were truly awful. Chloe, you're young and need to build up your strength. Eat more. Dad, this is Mom's way of showing her love for you. I can't steal the spotlight. She and I put down her chopsticks almost at the same time. How about we go out to eat? Sounds good to me. Hearing that, tears filled Sophia's eyes. There was nothing we could do. Chloe and I returned to our seats. That day, during the show's recording, a crew member suddenly rushed toward Chloe. Lying in the chair, I quickly shielded Chloe behind me. At the critical moment, a figure stepped in front of me. A dagger plunged into my stomach. I kicked out and subdued the person. While I pulled off the mask, the killer turned out to be Daniel. Director James hurried over with security and restrained the person. Honey, I'm dying. Could you call me your wife once? I frowned and ran my hands over her wounds. Not a drop of blood. I realized then that she had deceived me again. She was wearing a gold-threaded vest, enough to withstand a dagger. Still, seeing her determined, reckless expression, I spoke softly. Get up first. I forgive you, but don't lie again. Sophia cried tears of joy. She thanked Daniel, who was handcuffed. Thank you. I hugged my daughter, Chloe, who kept smiling.